What would you say to this version of yourself knowing what you know now? Or would he say to you, he'd be like, damn, you bought a Porsche? That's fucking sick. Damn, you have nice clothes? That's awesome. That's what he would say to me. And what I would say to him is, yeah, you are going to become more successful than you ever could have imagined. This is 6 years ago. Okay? 6 years ago. The one thing I would tell him is don't spend a whole bit of time leaning into drama and you average 7.5 hours every day. You're cooked, bro. That's actually lower. So this is another thing that I like doing at the end of the year, which is like check the stat line, right? And year over year, this year, 26K average viewership. The total hours watched was 71,183,649 hours watched total. Gained around almost 250,000 followers, which is lower, I think, for an election season. Because like last election year, I blew the up. Like this election season, it didn't happen really. But I went up on my peak viewership by almost 100,000. My peak viewership, I believe, was either on election day or January 6th. Can't remember which one it was, but that was 230,000, and I went up to 312,000. And I streamed a total of 2,746 hours, up 10% since last year. 9.2% since last year, sorry. 2,746 hours, and continuing today as well, which is pretty crazy. Of the year is that total. And that's like before we count all the collab streams I did too. So that's wait, I'm the #1 on view gain rank. Like since last year, the number of views I gained more viewers than any other content creator. That's crazy. 2,700 hours is 112 days. You spent almost a third of the year streaming. 71 million hours watched multiplied by the average hourly earnings of the US. $18 an hour means you've single-handedly about 1.3 billion in lost productivity from the US economy. Hell yeah. Yeah, that's 31% of the year. 31% of the entire year. Been a long time semi-skeptical lurker, clips watcher, then finally decided to follow and eventually subscribe. Honestly, mainly as a result of October 7 and Hasan having similar analysis on a lot of the political issues. Thanks for all the content and being a prominent champion of the working class and oppressed and fighting the good fight for our collective future and humanity. Happy New Year, chat. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah, this is wild. Hey, Lil Bear, thank you for the raid. And thank you for the video. So I think my peak mania with like what my hours streamed over the year is still 2020, and I'll never go back to that, hopefully, fingers crossed, where I streamed 42% of that entire year. And I guess like I went up this year as well, but it's still down 10% in comparison to 2020, that election year, which was also COVID, which was also the George Floyd protests, Black Lives Matter movement. So, but most significantly, it was COVID. So that's the reason, like there was nowhere to go. And Grand Theft Auto roleplay, no pixel roleplay as well. Overall, it says I've done 338 streams, 341 according to Lil Bear. And what's interesting about that, of course, is that the days off that I took, I think I took 2 days off or 3 days off basically throughout the entire year. Specifically, like I think I took 2 days off the entire year for just like fun. The rest were either collaborations or travel days, which is crazy. You weren't taking Sundays off for a little while. That's why 20 seems low. No, I said I would do that, but I never really did that, I don't think. Like if my math is right, you make 2.6 cents an hour for a sub for the stream. But if you get like 6 months to sub, you get a 30% discount. So it's more like 1.84 cents an hour. That's right. For all the time streamed, if you use your Twitch Prime, you can do it for free. But you're basically paying 2.6 cents an hour, which is crazy. Please never take a long vacation when you're not live for a day. World-changing events happen. If you take a week off, the world will end. Probably. You did take a lot of Sundays off, probably about 10. There are 52 Sundays in the year. Okay? I don't think you can say you did take a lot of Sundays off if you follow that up by saying probably about 10. The normal work week is, not 7 days a week. Baja, my brain's out. Thank you for the 20 gifted subs. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. I can't believe my Stephen Hawking quote was in the rewind. Best year ever. You took less than 1 day off every other week. Thank you for your service, brother. Child minors in Indonesia don't get 10 days, 10 Sundays off. Check your privilege, sweetie. True. You should respond to BPD and say you work 80 hours a week and agree with him. BPD? You mean PBD? Caked up bot. Thank you for the 10. Lazy Gains Gaming. Thank you for the 10 as well. I saw someone stream on Twitch from an economy seat on a plane Wi-Fi last week. Need to catch up. Wait, you can do that? I don't think you can do that. That's crazy. The highest number of streams I have are 9-hour streams, and which is 119 streams where I've streamed for 9 hours. 8-hour streams are 66, and then 10-hour streams are 59. 11-hour streams are 16. 12-hour streams 6. One 13-hour stream and one 14-hour stream. But the highest number of streams that I have done, streams by length, is 9 hours. Crazy. Of course, Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, hours streamed and hours watched highest. And then Saturdays and Sundays are lower. Wow. Are you fat? Hi. I don't think so. The issue with these counting sites is time zones, which is why on some sites it says you took 5 days off, but it was 341 streams/days. Okay. Are you happy with your balance, or do you want to take more time off this year? Great question. We're actually going to move on to the next thing and briefly get into that as well. But yeah, if you recall, at the end of last year, post October 7, this community was shaved down by a third. We went from 30K consistently to 20K, sub 20K sometimes. Okay. And in that process, a lot of people made hay of that and said like, oh, Hasan has finally fallen off. He's done. It's over for him. It's completely over for him. And they celebrated. They celebrated quite a bit. Part of the reason why, I lost a tremendous number of these community members is because I was right in my convictions and I stayed strong. And history will vindicate me. But regardless, that is an immediate counter to what people try to say about me being like audience captured, or me constantly grifting or some shit, or me building an echo chamber. Like clearly people did not want to be a part of that. Like there's clearly people who were disagreed with me by pretty large numbers. Bro, if 20K falling off, then I'm making my life mission to fall off. No, falling off in comparison to where I was. Okay. But it does seem as though those haters were wrong. Seems like they were wrong. Average view count has recovered to like 30K news on Newsdays at least post-election because of the good press you got and you being vindicated when it comes to your opposition to genocide, I think. Yeah. Didn't realize the drop-off was so significant after October 7. I mean, look at the month of January. My average viewership was at like 19K, 18K, 16K. That was a sub. 2 Gus, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. That's a sub 20K average viewership. Do you think you got new viewers or old ones came back? I think I got new viewers and some of the old ones came back, but it's mostly new viewers. Was November 4th, 10th, 2024 also a drop off? Because sometimes people will check out. Wait, what do you mean? Of course it was a drop off. Look at this. Yeah, it went down to like a 30K average again. Is this necessarily a bad thing? Like, does it put your financial means at risk when viewership drops like it does? No, it's not necessary. I mean, yeah, it's less, but it doesn't matter. That's not the problem. I don't care about the financial part of this conversation. What I do care about it in terms of like dropping off or popping off is I see it as a metric of my own success as someone who is trying to get people to, understand the world through the way I see it. So that's what it is. That's what's so meaningful for me, at least. There's a reason why I don't care about like the financial gain or the financial impact that I can have from all of the YouTube content that I put out there. I could just like easily own all of the HasanAbi Clips Industrial Complex channels and just take a percentage of their revenue while they continue to make money. They just make less money. You know what I mean? Why don't I do that? Continue to control my IP like that. The reason why I don't do that is because I care more about spreading that message rather than making money off of the message in and of itself, which is why there's so many things that I don't do that I could do, like constantly farming ads, maxing out on ads, getting the highest ad contract possible, or even maintaining my copyright. Not really talking about the ongoing genocide in Palestine would be another thing, right? But ultimately, isn't your position on Israel-Palestine consistent with your political beliefs anyway? Yes, it is. It is my position. And it is consistent with my beliefs. The problem is it was inconsistent with a lot of other people, a lot of other people's beliefs, even in my community. So, you know, that is the reality. But yeah, like I said, it seems like we had a pretty good, they meant intellectual property. Oh yeah, that is also, yes, in line with my values. You didn't fall off due to October 7 viewership was just dropping. I know that's what a lot of people like to point to and claim that was going on. Except it did. It 100% did. Anyway, let's put the scale back further on the graph. Yeah, I mean here. Viewership drop off from October. Like October is still, you know, you got Wednesday, October 11th. You have average viewership at like 30K. All right, let's do this. This is from 2022 to now. You go back far enough and you see that there is like still a downward trend. But if you look at like this area here, October, the month of October, and then onwards here, there's a noticeable decline. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Hasan, did you change your approach or strategy to your streams after you saw the numbers declining? No. Anyway, this doesn't matter. So as a Jewish woman, I definitely had a pro-Israel slant for most of my life, and you absolutely helped me shape my current viewpoints on the conflict. I never left the community, even when I was uncomfortable for a bit. Your approach is great. Free Palestine. Yeah. Less viewership equals more praxis copium. You got hotter since that's what changed? No, that's not what it is. My highest viewership is still when it was in the peak of COVID lockdowns, which is when I objectively wasn't. I was doing everything I can to look less hot. So he's never changed that, even when he had 200 viewers.
What's going on, everyone? How are we doing today? Hopefully there is no audio delay right now. In the future, we're not going to have any of these issues, especially because the boy's about to get a PC. That's the kind of dedication you get from me.
I was streaming from a MacBook at this point.
Hasan Piker, the man of the people. That's the kind of dedication I have to streaming and never stopping posting for the rest of my life till the moment I goddamn die. I will never, ever stop posting. And what's the best form of posting, you might ask? Well, the best form of posting is streaming live every night for 4 hours. That's the best kind of posting.
This is when I had a full-time job at the Young Turks.
Because it compromises you in a very meaningful way. You know, you're.
What would you say to this version of yourself, knowing what you know now, or would he say to you? He'd be like, "Damn, you bought a Porsche? That's fucking sick. Damn, you have nice clothes. That's awesome." That's what he would say to me. And what I would say to him is, yeah, you are going to become more successful than you ever could have imagined. This is 6 years ago. Okay? 6 fucking years ago. The one thing I would tell him is don't spend a whole bit of time leaning into drama and trying to correct the record, because absolutely no one gives a shit. And number 2, don't tell people that you're a socialist. You don't have to deny that you are one, but just don't tell people that. Just be like, yeah, I mean, why are you making things political? I feel like if I knew, because like when people say like, oh, don't predict that Vladimir Putin would never invade Ukraine or anything like that, I don't really care about, or America deserved 9/11, whatever, right? All that stuff is just extra noise, and I don't mind it. Like if you think that like those things are really relevant, it's not true. It's not, especially because like it's in line with what I do believe. Like a broader point that I was trying to make there is still stands.
Ultimately, you're naked in front of 200 people every night as you kind of decide, what topic should I talk about today? I don't know. Let's just reach out to the people and talk to them. That's basically how it goes. But in any case, I don't.
What about buying that $60 million house? Do that? Yeah, no, none of those things are real. Like those are not real PR hits. I mean, I should have probably kept renting for sure. That would have probably fucking pushed away a lot of the because that's when the string of like Hasan socialism but rich memes took off. What would young Hasan think of posting Shmeen on the timeline? I was way sluttier back then. Are you kidding me? You're out of your mind. This seems sad, Big Hoss. This feels like a sad French film. Wait, why? Tell them to look at LA on a real estate map and get back to you. It doesn't matter. Nah, the Twitch leaks would have still happened. I thought the Twitch leaks happened before the house, not after. Nothing would change in terms of like my commentary, but I think when you call yourself a socialist, there's a lot of baggage that comes along with it. And it's not even necessarily baggage that has anything to do with like your own ideological convictions or whatever. But because not a single person has a working definition that is correct. Not a single person. Wait, what? Were the Twitch leaks even that serious? You weren't hiding the numbers? I wasn't hiding anything, but it's not about hiding anything. People still use it as a fucking own. Like people will be like, "Oh, dude, he's lying about his background. He came from a wealthy family." It's like, no, I've never actually hid my perspective. Like I've always talked about how I came from an affluent beginning.
Thoughts on people saying that streaming isn't a real job?
It really isn't.
It isn't. It is and it isn't. It really depends on how much work you want to put into like whatever you're doing.
There's only one streamer that I know personally that has it somewhat rough, but it's his own choice.
Like who?
I would never trade places with Hasan.
Oh.
Ever. In a million years. I don't care how many subs he has, how much money he makes. I would never, ever, 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 ever want to be a political Twitch streamer.
Don't you think?
That shit is the most cancerous.
Yeah, this is pretty common among other streamers as well. They look to my side of this universe as like a sadistic infestation, like infestation of the worst kinds of attitudes. Like they have to deal with like a lot of parasocial shit too, you know. Will they, won't theys, stalkers, people trying to fuck with them. That's fine. Every streamer has to deal with that. Because streaming in terms of like entertainment is in the lowest rung. Okay, streaming as a form of entertainment is the lowest rung of entertainment. We have like it ranges from like being a Twitch streamer to being like a professional athlete, rapper, musician, model, all the way at the tippy top would be like the highest paid actors, right? And I would say that when you have when you're streaming political commentary, because of the nature of this content, because of the nature of the medium, like streaming across the board, you're opening yourself up to all that parasocial shit. And also on top of that, the additional toxicity that comes from politics. And also, if you're on the left side of politics, when you're on the left side of politics, your enemies are much more vicious too. You get it from every side. You get it from other leftists who have minor ideological differences with you. And those marginal differences are seemingly the greatest fucking, the greatest problems that no one can ever overcome. And then on top of that, you get this onslaught of shit, sometimes from mainstream media, but oftentimes from right-wingers that come from mainstream media all the way to, you know, neo-Nazis.
First thing I've ever seen in my life.
But don't you think he's like a fish in the water with what he's doing? Do you think it's like, do you think it's a job for him?
Yeah, he's the only one who's, you know, crazy enough to do that shit.
No, I mean like the daily average.
What do you mean?
I bet there are certain aspects that
doesn't help that right-wingers have a fuck ton of money they can invest in harassing you. Yeah. Leftists are alone with zero political power or influence. Yes, there is no institutional backing for leftists as well, because you're outside of like the liberal sphere. One, you're outside of the sphere of liberal orgs, right? Because they consider you to be antagonistic to their existence. And you're certainly outside of the the interests of right-wingers in general.
No, I mean like the daily average.
What do you mean?
I bet there are certain aspects that feel like work to him, but the average streaming that he does, watching news, talking about politics, talking about certain...
So you mean him fighting with his chat 12 hours a day? You think that's fun?
Well, define fun. I think it's just something that gives him fulfillment.
You think, you know, constant death threats every day, fun?
Well, that is something that's obviously, that sucks. That sucks.
Yeah.
I think one of the worst aspects of this, though, and this is not a woe is me hour or anything like that. I'm very fortunate, make no mistake, but it's constantly being portrayed as someone who doesn't believe the things that he believes, it's so frustrating to be like serially, deliberately misunderstood. You know what I mean? It's so incredibly annoying where people just like put words in your mouth over and over again. Especially when, I mean, I'm live 10 hours a fucking day. My average is what, 7.5 hours this year. Almost every single fucking day. Like, you can tune in and figure out what my worldview is pretty quickly. I just hate when I'm misrepresented over and over again, and then people just like shove that false context, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter what the truth is, and it is so unimaginably frustrating. Like, yeah, it's not even a misunderstanding; it's reframing, so your message falls flat. Exactly. Do you find it difficult to genuinely change your opinion on stuff when people constantly look for hypocrisy? No. If there's something that I change my framework on or change my opinion on with new information, I don't think that that is hypocritical. I think that that is normal and that is the right thing to do. And I used to always get real mad at people who would say, you're backtracking, you're backtracking. And it was like, no, this is new information that I've received, so I'm changing my opinion. And I used to yell at people who would consider that to be backtracking. That's just like debate lord shit. It's called learning. It's called growth. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I'm also pretty open and honest about the growth that I've experienced. I even talked about it with Bradley Martin, the Bro Tips videos. He brought him up because he saw it and he was like, you're based in those videos. Actually, you know what? Let's watch the Bradley Martin video.
Do you trust me?
Where is it?
Do you trust me? I tell you.
Where the fuck is it?